Alright, beautiful people, in the last lesson you have learned how to check a number is prime or not. This time we're going to extend that program. We're going to print and count all the prime numbers from m to n number. So we will take starting point and also ending point, and then we're going to print all the prime numbers in between them. And not only that, we will also count how many prime numbers we have got there. Okay, so let's start here. I'm going to bring another variable called starting number. Let me put it there, starting number, and then we're going to also add one variable called n number. And now we need to take these two input from the user. I'm going to copy and paste from here to here, and I'm going to ask the user to give me the starting number. Let me be real quick here and separate them a little bit. Okay, already you have seen how I've done the validation, so here I'm going to copy and paste for all of them just to be sure that we are taking the valid input. Okay, so here I'm going to ask enter the starting number, starting number. User will give us the starting number, and we need to put inside the starting number variable here. Okay, and then here I'm going to ask enter the ending number. So let's do that, enter the ending number, and we'll take that one inside the variable called ending number. Fair enough. Ending number and end number. Okay, that should be all for now. Now what we will do, basically, we're going to put everything inside our for loop, because we need to run a loop from starting to ending. And this is the if block, and then we have the else block. I'm going to cut everything from here to here. Let's go all the way down. Okay, there are different ways we can solve this problem for sure. I'm just thinking which will be the easiest way for us. Okay, let's do that like that. So here we're going to run a loop, and the loop will start from the variable. We can define any variable here, it doesn't matter. In this case we have the number, so think like that. What basically we need here, we need the number to check, right? So we are going to start the number this time, and the first number is going to be our starting number, and the loop will run until the ending number that we have, and every time the number will be incremented by 1. So let's say if someone gives us the starting number 5 and ending number 10, so this loop will run from 5 to 10, and now we need to check what are the numbers from 5 to 10 are the prime number. Okay, so for that reason I'm going to cut everything from here to here. Let's cut, and let me put inside this for loop, and we're going to modify this a bit real quick. So first of all, try to understand here, we just need to print all the numbers that are prime. So in this case, I'm not going to show this message anymore. I just want to check whether the value is between 0 to 1. In this case, we're going to change the value of count that we have, because if the value of count is 1, then it's not a prime number. On the other hand, if the value of count does not change, then it's going to be a prime number, right? So here, what we will do, we are inside the for loop. We are going to print only if the number is prime. So this is our first condition to be not to be prime, and then we have the else part. This time I will wrap all the for loop, the inner for loop, inside the else part, and I'm going to remove this part so that you can understand what basically I'm trying to do here. Okay, so again, let's come back. We are coming inside the for loop. We are checking whether the number we have, current number, it is prime or not. If the value is less than or equal 1, the count value will be changed. Okay, and then we are coming inside the else. If the value is not less than or equal 1, we need to check whether the number is divisible by the value of I. After that, we are going to check here, because we need to print again. So if the value is still 0, only then we want to print, because we need to print only the prime numbers, right? So let's print that number here. I'm going to use printf, and then let's print. Here I will keep some space here, and then going to print the number. Okay, now the last thing we need to do here, so let's say a number is divisible by, maybe you have, let's say you are starting like this, so that it makes more sense here. So we are starting from 5, and we need to run until 10. So this is our starting number. So the current number will have the starting number, which is 5. It will check here, of course 5 is not less than equal 1, will come inside. Again, this loop will work for sure, and then square root of 5, it will run until that. So 5 is not divisible by any of the numbers, so it will not go inside, therefore count will remain 0, and it will be printed. Then the next number will be 6 in our case. So again, this condition doesn't work. We'll come inside, then square root of 6, it will run until that. Then here, most important part, 6 is divisible by 2, so it will start from 2, right? And therefore count value will be changed. Try to understand here, count value will be changed and this one will not print. But remember, the count value has already changed. So in this case, we are coming back and this time it will be 7. And we will come inside this part. Even though 7 is not divisible by I anymore, but the last value of the count we have changed and we did not reset that value anymore. So every time when we are coming inside the loop, we need to reset the value of count equal to 0 so that, you know, we are studying again and everything works completely fine. Now let me run this program and let me show you how basically this one is executing here. So I'm going to compile and run here. Enter the starting number and I'm going to give it, let's say 5, and enter the ending number. Let's say it's going to be 15, and it is asking us to give entire and positive integer, which is not needed anymore because we are taking the range here. So let me just cut this part and then I can compile and run again. This time I'm going to give the starting number and also the ending number, and this is basically returning us all the prime number between 5 to 15. So hopefully you got the concept how things are working here. Now we need to count the number of prime numbers we have printed here or found. So that's why I'm going to get another variable here, and this is going to be called total prime numbers, and this time it's going to be 0 at the beginning for sure. So every time when we have a prime number, we are going to increment that. And how can we do that? We can do it here for sure. So when the count is 0, that means it's a prime number is printed, and now increment the number, total of prime numbers here. And after ending the loop, so after the loop, we can print here just one time that total prime numbers is that or that, whatever. Okay, so we're going to use printf here, and let's show here with a new line, total prime numbers, and we're going to print the total prime numbers with the help of /d. Then we're going to add a new line, and the variable is responsible for this is total prime numbers. All right, let's run this program. Let's see whether it does work. Here I'm going to clear everything just to be sure, and let's compile and run. This time we're going to give the starting point number, let's say maybe 2, and the ending number is 20. It needs to print all the prime numbers from 2 to 20, and it does, and it shows the total prime numbers between this range is 8. So hopefully you got what basically I'm trying to do here. Now let's see how can we improve this program. We can make more efficient. So for that, basically, first of all, what I'm going to do, I want to check whether the range is valid, because let's say if somebody gives us the starting number here 5, and somebody gives us the ending number 4, which doesn't make any sense. So we cannot start from 5 and we cannot go until 4. This is not right, okay? And that's why we can validate that. And how can we do that? For that reason here, I'm going to add an if block, and I want to check whether the ending number is greater than the starting number. Or on the other hand, if the starting number is greater than the ending number, that means it's not a valid number that we are looking for, okay? So the starting number must be less than or equal to the ending number. Otherwise, we're going to return a false value here, or the error here. In this case, return 1, basically giving the compiler a signal that, hey, there is something wrong here. And if we return 0, that means everything was successful, okay? And now let's see, is there any other way we can improve this program? So let me go up. We have the starting number, and maybe I will change the variable name a bit. It's going to be ending number. So let me just copy and paste wherever needed. Here I'm going to say ending number, and also the same thing, ending number. Okay, now that I have changed the name of the variable, let's see, is there any other improvement we can do? So when we're getting the starting number, which is completely fine, nothing wrong, maybe I can show here, please enter a valid integer. So I'm going to make this message a little bit better. Please enter a valid integer. Okay, fair enough. So the message looks more better. Again, I'm going to copy and paste the same thing for the ending number. So let's come back here. I'm going to give the same value for the ending number. Okay, so these two things looks perfect. And then what basically we want to do here, before the for loop, we can print out something like this, prime numbers between this and that range, and then it can print all the prime numbers. Okay, this will make more sense. And for that, I am going to just copy and paste the things from that from my notes, and I'm going to paste it here. Now this looks better, right? and we are going inside the for loop again. I do not think we need to declare the number all the way up, so let me just cut it from here. Also, maybe the variable count is not needed there, at least for now. Let me just get rid of from here. Let's go down below. Let's see what we can do. So I'm just trying to use the variable wherever it's needed. Okay, let me go down below. Here I'm going to declare it as inline. So here we have the number variable declared, and then we are basically using count 0, which is maybe instead of count 0 I'm going to use, let's say, the prime number or something like that. So again, maybe for now I'm going to use integer count. Let's see whether we are going to use it in a different way. But again, let's continue. Let's think like that. If the number is less than equal 1, in this case, we do not need to check whether it's a prime or not, right? So in this case, we can continue to the loop. So from here, we are going back to the loop and we are just improving the code. Again, whatever we have used earlier, there is nothing wrong with that. So still we can go with that, okay? And then maybe let's see, we can still stick to the programs that we have. All right, here instead of this, maybe we can change the flag and we can name something different, but for now it doesn't matter. It looks perfect to me, and we can run this program. Let's see whether it does work. Here I'm going to compile and run. I'm going to give the starting number this time, let's say 5, and ending number 4 intentionally, and this should give us a message here. Hey, starting number must be less than or equal to the ending number. Okay, fair enough. Now I'm going to run this program again. This time I'm going to give 5 and 25. It should print all the numbers between 5 to 25, and it does actually. You can see all the prime numbers are there. And how many prime numbers are there? We have 7 prime numbers. So hopefully things are making more sense at this point, right? Now, at least there one more improvement I want to make here. Since that, like we're saying, if the number is less than 0 or equal, we are basically continuing to the loop. That's why in this case, we do not need to use else, because we are continuing it from here. That's why I can get rid of this else block, and let me just cut it from here to here. And hopefully this one is making sense to you. So let's say if the number is 0, we're going back. If the number is 1, we're going back. But if it is 2, then in this case, we'll go for sure here to here. Okay, this is making sense for sure. That should be all for now, and hopefully you had fun doing here. Again, you can change this program many ways. For instance, here I'm going to write a command so that even if you do not want to use the square root option, you can use it such a different way. Let's say you can use I into I and then less than equal number. So this is something you can do instead of using a square root, because this will basically also reduce the number of iteration as well. So you will have 1 into 1, 2 into 2. For instance, here it will have 2 into 2, then 3 into 3, 4 into 4, less than equal number. So it will reduce the iteration as well. And because of we are not using square root number, in this case we also do not need the header file extra as well. So this file size will be also smaller here and more efficient. As I said, there are many ways to solve a problem. This is not only one way, actually there are a lot of other ways. Okay, so hopefully it made sense. Thank you very much. That should be all.